Welcome! In this tutorial video, we'll walk through how to capture your first Phantom high-speed CINE files. We will walk through the general workflow of adding a camera, adjusting the key image and capture settings, setting trigger position, and finally, capturing the CINE. Let's get started. The program will open directly in the Setup and Record tab, the home for live camera control. To add a camera, click the Add Camera button in the center bar. PCC 4 will scan your network and display any connected Phantom cameras. A green icon confirms a live connection. If the camera is powered but not appearing, check your Ethernet settings using PCC's built-in networking utility, NetConfig, which we covered in video 1. With the camera added, open the Inspector panel. This is your main control center for capturing settings. In the CINE tab, choose your frame rate and resolution. The camera will default to the highest resolution, however this can be adjusted to increase possible frame rates, increase record time, or even reduce the raw file size. Select from the presets or type in a value and the camera will adjust to the closest allowable setting. Next, adjust the frame rate, understanding that higher rates reduce capture duration, which also depends on the size of your available RAM buffer. Lower rates extend the record duration and also allow for a higher exposure time to be set. Adjust exposure time to match the lighting and motion in your scene. A higher exposure increases brightness but may introduce motion blur. A lower value is a faster exposure, which preserves crisp, detailed edges, an important detail for motion analysis. We offer an exposure and frame rate calculator at phantomhighspeed.com to help determine appropriate settings for your test. Additional settings such as auto trigger, advanced exposure, or sensor features may also appear depending on camera model. We will cover these functions in a future tutorial video. Best practice is to perform a current session reference, or CSR, after any resolution, frame rate, or exposure adjustment. This does a black calibration and removes any artifacts that were introduced by the adjustments. For color cameras, a right-click on a white or neutral gray of the image will allow an auto-white balance to be performed. A CSR should also be done periodically as the sensor temperature will shift, which raises the black level. Many cameras have a built-in shutter, which makes it very easy. Simply click the CSR button on each individual image panel. For cameras without a shutter, the front of the lens must be manually capped. Before recording, confirm your image looks the way you expect. Use the zoom tools in the image panel to refine the focus and check framing. A long press of the zoom in icon zooms to 1:1, and a long press of the zoom out zooms the image to fit the panel. Next, open the Image tab in the inspector. Here you'll fine-tune gamma, tone curve, gain, white balance, and view the histogram. These adjustments ensure your exposure is correct and that your captured CINE will provide clean, high-detailed footage. Now set the trigger position, which determines how much of your RAM buffer is allocated before and after the trigger event. This is shown clearly on the right side of the tracks panel. A mid-range trigger position is typical for unpredictable events, capturing both lead-up and post-trigger frames. A trigger position of 0 captures everything in RAM leading up to the trigger, and any action with known timing may favor a higher number of post-trigger frames. With your settings, image, and trigger position ready, you're set to capture. Use the Capture button in the center bar to arm the camera. The camera is now waiting for a trigger, either a software trigger using the button or an external hardware trigger. To trigger in PCC, press on this on-screen trigger button. You'll see the buffer indicator fill, and PCC 4 will highlight when the camera is actively capturing. If you're using a hardware trigger connected to the camera's trigger port, simply activate your switch or control device. PCC 4 displays the same capture feedback, ensuring you know precisely when the CINE was recorded. Your first CINE is now safely in RAM. In the next tutorial, we'll walk through reviewing, trimming, and saving your high-speed footage. Thanks for watching.